Hi, my name is Chana Schiff and welcome to the Kosher Aliyah Cooking Network, the place where we visually have the opportunity to share and exchange our ideas and recipes on how to recreate our homemade taste while living in Israel. Today I'm going to show you a recipe that I got from my friend Judith. It's the 1 bowl brownie, 1, 2, 3, friends having a baby, someone sick, last minute company for Shabbos, one of those kind of recipes. It also freezes great. Of course, with most brownie recipes, the key to a fudgy and yummy brownie is to underbake it a bit. So that is what I tend to do. You can also, of course, make it regular time. It's a little bit cakier that way, but I'm a big fan of fudgy brownies. Okay, so let's get started. First thing I did was preheat my oven to about 175, 180 degrees Celsius, which is about 350 degrees Fahrenheit, depending on your oven. Then I got my pan ready. This is a regular 9x13 kind of lasagna pan. You can spray it with a non-cooking spray, like Pam if you'd like to. But sometimes it's hard to find in the supermarkets. It's also expensive, and this is just easier. And we're going to be using some baking paper instead. Okay. I'm going to show you the baking paper. Is Niyar Afia. It comes already pre-cut. Sometimes it comes in a roll. You have to cut it yourself. But most of the time it comes pre-cut. It's about this size. It's at the size of a sheet pan. Okay, for the purposes of my baking, when I do it in a 9x13 pan, I basically fold it on the crease and I rip it in half. And then I'm able to get 2 sheets, and each one is fits into the 9x13 pan very well. Okay, so we're going to set our pan on the side, and I'm going to show you the ingredients that we're going to use. Let's see, we have my baking bowl, my mixing bowl. We have 1 cup of flour. Flour is called kemach chita laban by here, white bleached flour. Just be careful when you're in the store. The flour is usually placed next to semolina, which is called solet. I have bought the wrong one. My husband's bought the wrong one. I had to go back to the store and exchange it. Just be careful when you buy, just to make sure you get the right one. I pre-sift my flour. I keep it stored in my freezer in a plastic bag. If you take a look below, you'll find a little clip on how I sifted my flour. One of my very, very close friends in Sefer showed me how to sift flour nice and quickly, so please check it out below to make life a little easier for you. We're going to go ahead and use also sucre levan, which is white sugar, 2 cups of it. You will find that the granulation of the sugar here is a bit coarser than the one you find in America. I have heard that some people put it in the food processor for a second just to make it a little finer. But you'll find that you might get used to it, or you'll find other brands that have a finer granulation. It just really depends, and you'll see after a time you'll get used to it. Your food might come a little bit crunchier, but you'll get used to it after a while. I'm taking 2 cups. We're going to also put in 2/3 of a cup of Aבקת cacao, which is cocoa powder. I store mine in the freezer to keep out the bugs and to keep it fresh. There is also going to be 2/3 of a cup of shemen canola. Make sure as well when you go to the supermarket that it says canola and not soya. Also made that mistake many a time. It's packaged the same way, and you just want to make sure you're using canola oil. Okay. I'm going to put in a dash of salt. This is regular table salt. Melech haaretz. And we're going to use also 1 teaspoon of baking powder. This is Aבקת Afia. You'll find it most of the time. The most common way you'll find it is in these packets. They're a twin of 2 packets. It's usually about 10 packages in a package altogether. And you sometimes can find them in the containers as well, in the jars, but this is the most popular way to find it. Each packet is about 2 1/4 to 2 1/2 teaspoons of baking powder. We're going to be using 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And then we're going to be using vanilla. This is my one little vice here. As I mentioned before, I like to try to use as much Israeli products as possible. I find that it's, I like to support the economy. It's also much more convenient because it's very hard to find a lot of American products here, and also it's much cheaper. The American products are very expensive. But the one vice that I do have is vanilla. That's my hard one. I find the Israeli vanilla is a little bit different than what I'm used to. It works fine for this recipe, either one. This is the Israeli one, which is Tמצית, Afia, bטעם, וניל. Or you can go ahead and use your regular vanilla. We're using 1 teaspoon of it. But just be careful and be sensitive to the people that you're making it for. Some people are not familiar and also are not comfortable using American products and the hashkachot, so you may just have to go ahead and use this vanilla. So just be careful. And then we're going to be using 4 eggs. I mentioned before as well, the red print on the eggs took us about 6 months to realize that I did not have blood spots in all of the eggs that I cracked. We have to speak with the egg producers in this country to try to get them to change to green ink or to black ink, something that's not red. But in the meantime, I've learned how to crack my eggs with the red on top and just crack into a bowl so there's only the white on the bottom so the red does not run into the egg. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mix it all together. It's all mixed into one bowl, and I'll show you how it looks in just a moment. So as you can see, I have mixed together all of our ingredients. It's a very thick batter, and I'm going to go ahead and pour it into our prepared pan. Okay, so I've poured the batter into the pan, and I'm going to put it into my oven, my preheated oven, 350 degrees, 180 degree oven. Like I said before, it really depends on your preferences, depends on your oven. It can cook anywhere from 25 minutes to 35 minutes. And I'll let you see how it comes out in just a few. Okay, so the brownie is finished. It's a little bit hard to see. I don't know if I can show you. If you see when I fold it a little bit, you'll see that it's still a little bit soft in the middle. The outside part is more solid, and the inside part is a little bit looser. That's what I mean by letting it underbake just a tad so that it gives it that more fudgy flavor. I'm going to let it cool off for a few minutes. I'm going to show you how I cut it out of the pan. Okay, now that my brownies have cooled off, I actually put them in the freezer a bit to let them solidify a little bit quicker. So if you're ever in a pinch, you need to get them sliced up really quickly, just put them in the freezer for a bit. And I'm going to take my power cutting board, going to take the pan, and lift it out simply like this by holding the edges of the baking paper. And I'm going to invert it upside down onto my cutting board and simply peel away the baking paper. Like I said, it's much easier to go ahead and slice a brownie when it's outside of the pan than it's inside of the pan, especially if it's very fudgy. So if you wanted to go give this, to my children as a treat, they'll get to lick off the baking paper. But now they're at home, that's why it's so quiet here. I'm going to throw in the garbage. And I'm going to slice up the brownie, okay? I'm simply going to cut off the edges. And this I'll save for my children so they can have it a little later. Cut off the edges so that it's a nice clean look and clean finish. Go ahead and serve them. I've served these brownies alongside chocolate mousse on their own, sprinkled with confectionery sugar, served them with fruit salad. They're just one of those really versatile kind of brownies. So I hope you enjoy them. They really freeze really, really well. As you can see, they're very gooey on the inside. I still a little bit warm. I think I pushed it a little bit in the freezer, but they're good enough. Okay, I'm going to simply wipe off my knife. A little bit fudgy for my knife here. Okay. It's a good sign when the brownie is a little bit sticky, that means it's nice and fudgy. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and just simply cut some squares. And you get the idea. I'm just going to put them on the plate, and you can see for yourself. They're easy to slice up. And just keep continuing on. I'll show you what they look like. A little bit closer so you can see. Really yummy brownies. Very fudgy on the inside. As you can see, they're very gooey. And I hope you enjoy them just like we do. So, now that I've shown you my brownies, if you have any brownies that you'd like to share with us, any culinary accomplishments regarding any other baked item, doesn't matter what kind of dish it is, just share with us. Please let us know how you've done it, how you've recreated your brownies that you had in America, how you've recreated your salads, how you've recreated your baked ziti. Doesn't really matter. Everybody's looking to find new recipes, new ways to make their life a little easier, and make their visits to their supermarket a lot less daunting and a lot more focused so they know what to buy and how to buy it the right way. So if you like this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, please make sure to subscribe. And if you take a look at the right side of the video, you'll see a list of the ingredients and the recipe. And down below in the Show More tab, you'll see some instructions on how you can send your video to me through a website called WeTransfer. You simply videotape yourself making your favorite food, send it over to me. I'm going to post it on this channel, and you'll give a chance for other people to see how you make it and make them feel comfortable knowing that you've had a hard time adapting and you're learning how to do it just like they are. But it's time to celebrate your culinary accomplishments here, and I hope you can share and exchange ideas and have a great time together. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day and enjoy your brownies.